Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Next Level Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Leslie. Today is another one of my guided sessions, one-on-one with a client. Lana Chairez.
Cherries.
Yeah. Everyone knows every single time I have to double check the last names. I butcher them. I screw them up even when I double check. So Chairez, it's spelt. How are people saying your last name?
They call it Cherise or
Chavez.
Oh, I get Chavez a lot. Oh God, I am not a Chavez. I am a Chairez.
Chairez. Yeah, that's cute.
In Spanish, it's Chairez, and in English, it's Cherries.
Okay, it's like my thing. I always f up the last name of everybody, even though I double check. So just fast forward through this part. Anyways, I have Lana on the show. She is engineering my show, and she's a badass. She has her own podcast. You have your own business too.
I have my own everything. Yeah, I have my own business. I do window screens, solar screens, window repair, sliding glass door repair, and we do interior doors and patio screen doors.
Yeah.
So I do a lot, yeah.
She's pretty amazing. I mean, when I look back to when I was her age, which feels like a long time ago, kind of was a long time ago, I didn't have my shit together like that in terms of independence. So I really honor you. And I really love doing these, of course. I love doing these one-on-one sessions that I'm starting to do. Like I said, it's not just about me showcasing my skills. I really want to get to know people and understand their processes and use some of my wisdom, some of my knowledge to help people unravel their journeys to get them to the next level.
Right.
A lot of these sessions are just about getting to know you and sort of breaking the basics apart. Of course, when I work with my clients, I dive deep and we go through much, much more. But you have a very interesting situation and topics that we wanted to explore today. We're going to do a little bit of bantering and sharing, but also at the end, I want to make sure that you have some takeaways to help you on your journey to start healing and moving forward and get you to where you want to go.
Thank you.
So my pleasure. Thank you for being here and for being vulnerable and willing to share some of the things that you're going to share, because they are very sensitive and intimate and maybe controversial, and but they're real. They're real as fuck. And we need to be discussing these, especially with a lot of women. We are becoming more empowered and we're wanting to create in a very different way than we did before. You're very independent, sort of a much, much newer thing in more recent generations. And these conversations need to be had, and we need to support each other in becoming even better versions of ourselves as we navigate the unknown independence that's, being thrust upon us as women in this age. So like I said, thank you very much for being here and for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, you filled out the little questionnaire that I have, and some of the topics you really wanted to talk about was men, trusting men.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of background sort of you have about, that's led you up to this point where you're having some challenges trusting men. You're dating, you have your very specific sort of way of dating and interacting with men. So let's explore a little bit about your mistrust with men and sort of where you're at now, and then we can kind of go backwards from there.
Well, I definitely started off with dating. A lot of the guys that I have dated in the past have cheated on me. So it's become it's become hard to trust in a sense of having a guy that's not going to cheat on me, obviously. And then in 2020, I really went far deep into stripping. So I was a stripper for a second. I was a dancer. And when I was a dancer, I kind of noticed that a lot of married men are the ones who are getting strippers, and a lot of men are doing it behind other people's backs. I mean, these are really high up, really intellectual guys that are what do you call it, high value men who are renting strippers. And so it's it kind of made me mistrust the fact that I'm if you're married, why do you need to hire a stripper? And then a lot of times these guys hire a stripper and then they feel like they just rented an escort. So it's I was having a lot of it was a lot of mistrust in a sense where I hated men because I felt like all they wanted to do was fuck me, touch me, and be on me all the time. But it was because of stripping. And then while I was on the job with stripping, one of the guys ended up raping me. Which, I don't know, am I allowed to say that on here? R-worded me.
I think we can. Yeah, you can say whatever word you want. You can swear. You can. It's open. No judgment. Feel free. I will probably throw some bad words in there if you don't. So beat me to it for a change, because no one usually does.
I will always be a person to it.
Yes.
But so a guy ended up raping me while I was stripping. And then this was someone that I had absolutely no idea who he was. He was just a client that we did a party for. And 4 days later, one of my friends sexually assaulted me pretty bad. And then, so when at that time I was dating somebody, and when I told him like, hey, I got raped and then I got sexually assaulted 4 days later, I saw him 2 weeks later, and he tried to comfort me with sex. So it was a lot of like my mentality towards men is always like, you just want to have sex, you just want to fuck, you guys are all horny. And especially because I lived it, and it's all you hear in podcasts, talk shows, and in regular daily life. Men are men, boys will be boys. Like, guys are just horny. We're built that way. We're masculine, and we have testosterone. And it's always about men are sexual beings, and women are just dainty little fragile little flowers. And I'm like, well, I was that fragile little flower at one point, and your sexualness took that away from me. So my trust issues come from all of the experiences that I've ever had with a man, coming from marriage to dating to stripping to being even a sugar baby, because I used to be a sugar baby. From being a sugar baby to getting raped, to people that I dated even after I was raped, it was just like it was just a constant. You're just a horn dog. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you felt reduced to just a sack of flesh that they want to fuck.
I just basically. I really just felt like I was just a pocket pussy with a personality.
Mm-hmm. Right, but they didn't even care about the personality.
Oh, they don't. Right. Yeah, no.
So I completely understand where you would feel that you are just being sort of objectified. Mm-hmm. We're only good for that as women. Yeah. I commend your experience in the sense that you did learn a lot about a part of our humanity that is very much not talked about, as in the sense that we're not taught as women or as girls that this is how it really works. Like I was talking with one of my girlfriends today about this. I got my hair did, took forever, but she hears and sees all sorts of things because she's in the salon. And we were actually talking about this today, this whole fairy tale, this Disney princess where, we need to be rescued, but the guy comes in and it's really just, there's no fairy tale ending.
There's no real Prince Charming.
There is not. And this is part of this movement that's been happening. And the great thing is, in a way, so I always try and take the positive out of an experience. You've been illuminated to some very, very real experiences of men and their motives, not all of them, but a good majority of them. Mm-hmm. Whether you're married or not, or in love or whatever, that is oftentimes a big motive, and you've experienced that, and we cannot deny that. We will not deny your experience because it's real and it's true. Mm-hmm. Maybe not all men are like that, but then there are other things that may lack if a guy doesn't necessarily get swayed by those feelings as well. So, nobody is perfect, but in the situation that you're experiencing, very real. It exists. I think it does exist a lot more intensely in this city, just because it is Sin City. It's Las Vegas, for those of you who don't know where this is broadcasting from and where her experiences come from. So this is an anomaly, but it's also not. It does exist everywhere too. We're just more faced with it, and there's so much more. It's more transparent, and people are more, doing things openly that may will likely hurt people. So
it's a lot more accepted here in Vegas too. It's a lot more accepted.
It is, right. Or tolerated. Certainly it's at the forefront, and people are just much more transparent about the fact that it exists. So what you're experiencing is very real. You have absolutely every right to have mistrust, to not, to have any fears or apprehensions and moving forward. And I'm sure your experience has affected how you date, your ability to open up, and probably your perspectives or your meaning or your new desires of what life with a man might even look like. So why don't you share with me how your experiences and this mistrust has sort of shifted and shaped your current dating life, your current perspectives, and or your future idea of what a relationship or interaction with a man looks like.
What's so funny is that after it happened, I kind of I felt like that guy took my freedom away from me. I had I have 4 personalities.
Oh, please share.
Right.
I like multiple personalities. Bring it, Lana, bring it.
I have multiple personalities, and one of them is Zyla. She's the stripper. She's the sexy, the fun one. There's Patricia's the bitch. Lana's the sweet one. Lanita's the ghetto little cholita one, and then there's Zyla.
The fighter, the girl that
oh yeah,
you'll stab a bitch. That one.
Yeah, that's Lanita. She'll bust a cap in somebody's ass. But Zyla's she's the sexy stripper, like will get us backstage type of deal. Like she's the fun one, and I literally I got to a point where I was crying to my best friend because I told her I was like I almost felt like I feel like somebody died and I don't know who I miss. Like I miss somebody and I don't know who it is. And I just kept thinking about it. I'm like, I just feel so sad. I feel depressed. I felt like something was very much taken away from me, like an actual person, like as if a parent died or like a dog died or something like that. And I told my friend, I was like, you know what? I was like, I know it's going to sound weird, but I almost feel like I miss Zyla. Like, 'cause Zyla died. Zyla's not there no more. And she was like, do you really think that that's like true? And I'm like, you have no idea. I was like, because my sexy went away. Like, I don't want to be sexy for a guy no more. Like, the sexy is for me. Like now that I've gotten, because it happened a year and 2 months ago. So after that, I kind of I covered myself up. I wear hoodies and sweats a lot because I try to hide my body, and I wasn't like that before. I tend to kind of watch, I'm a very sexual being. Like I love to joke about dicks and pussies and boobs and sex. Like
And your podcast is very much you're exposed.
Yeah.
You're beautiful. You've got a rockin' body, and I love that you're very risque and you show yourself off, but that's a persona that you don't have necessarily in day to day, it sounds like.
Well, my thing is my podcast brought it back.
Ah, okay.
My podcast brought it back because I went an entire year of covering myself up, watching what I say around men because I just feel like I was objectifying myself. I blamed myself for everything. I've heard victims do that because people were asking me why I never reported the guy, because I don't even know who he is, to be honest. The guy who raped me, I don't even know his first name. So I don't know who he is. I didn't call the cops. I didn't do anything. I was so embarrassed about what happened that I just when it happened, I was like, oh my God, that just happened. I'm leaving. Mm-hmm. So I left, I collected my things, I left, but the problem with it was I was there with a group of people, and that group of people was like, hey Lana, we're waiting for you. But I was like, hey, I have 2 more private dances that I have to do. That's $200. You got me fucked up. I'm doing my 2 little private dances. You guys can go. You guys can leave. I'm gonna make my money. So go ahead and go. And they left. And because they left, that guy knew that I was by myself, and he took advantage of that. And so because he took advantage of that, I felt stupid because I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna tell the people that left that I got raped? And they're all they're gonna be is like, oh, you should have came with us. I was supposed to stay. You told us to leave. So I was super embarrassed about that. And then I kept it from my family. I kept it from even my best friend. And I didn't know how to tell anybody until it was like 3 days after it happened that I finally broke down and told my best friend. And then, and that was my female best friend. My guy best friend, it took me a little longer to even tell him, where I was like, because I was like, I don't know how you're going to take this, but like, I got raped like last week. And I don't know. And when I told him, he was like, why didn't you tell me? I would have beat his ass. I would have done this. Who is it? And I'm like, I don't know who it is. It's like, I know exactly what he looks like. I know exactly what he smells like, but I couldn't tell you his first fucking name. So I was very, I guess, like victim shaming myself. Mm-hmm. And we do that. Like I've heard, like we do that. But that being said, I kind of I just closed off to everybody because I felt like if I tell people that this happened and I didn't report the guy, they're gonna shame me for it. So I kept it a secret. And because I kept it a secret, it's like trying to keep a pregnancy a secret. Like you just you're like, I want to tell the entire world, but I really feel like I can't because I'm gonna get judged for it or something. So I was very depressed and closed off, and it took away a lot of my personality because my personality is very sexual, very open, very free. I'm such a free bird. I'm super free bird, and I'm not like I used to be. I used to be a lot more free than I am right now. I'm like, you guys think that I'm wild and crazy now? I was like, you should have met me 2-3 years ago. I was a fucking wild cat. And now I'm like, when it comes to being around men, I cannot be alone in a room with a man. You got me fucked up. There's absolutely no way unless I have to really trust you. Now at Sticky Paws Studios, shout out Sticky Paws, but at the studio there's nothing but guys that work here. So in the beginning I was like, hey, I want to be an intern here. But in the beginning, it was very oh my God, there's 5 guys in that fucking place. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I was like,
there's a lot of fear that comes up.
It's a lot of fear. Yes. I get very nervous. I get very nervous when I'm alone in a room with a guy. Until I got to when I get to know somebody and I know their intentions aren't to rape me, then I'm like, all right, cool. Now we're homies. Now we're friends. But my I cannot be alone in a room with a guy. Dating has changed in a sense where as soon as a guy mentions the slightest bit of sex, it is the biggest fucking turnoff. Mm-hmm. It's such a turnoff. And it shouldn't be like that because I'm like, you're a sexual person. I'm a sexual person, especially if you're trying to date somebody. Right. If you're trying to date somebody that kind of, they're going to be talking about oh, you got nice boobs. Or you have a nice figure. And I'm like, why the fuck are you looking at my body? Right.
I'm just trying to let you know you're pretty. Holy fuck. Put the knife away. Right. No, I totally get it. And what you're experiencing is a normal reaction to a very traumatic event. Now, I'm not a therapist. I'm not equipped to go through all of the major trauma work, but what you're doing what you're experiencing is normal. What you're discovering about yourself and your interactions, you're having boundaries, and you're sifting through the what happened is not necessarily now, and you're baby stepping your way back into having confidence in men. And so having trust is going to take trusting yourself, right? It was not your fault, but there's a certain amount of trusting yourself, trusting your judgment, trusting your decision making, as well as trusting men, and probably just as much trusting men as trusting yourself. And that will be something that will continue to unravel as you start to open up. And you might find a guy as you're like, okay, I've healed enough to the point where, okay, I might have some feelings, or I might be ready to engage in a more emotionally vulnerable way. And then you're going to start doubting yourself. So that will be something to come. So you already know. Yeah. Okay. So that's something that, we can always work on when that time comes, but you're at a really great place in terms of at least getting to the point where you're aware and you're not like having this super bitter, I'm sure you were at some point, or hateful perspective. Yeah. Maybe that comes in at times too, at the bitterness, anger.
Bad hate for men. Like it was I hated.
And that's normal and it's okay. I've been there, trust me, through my experiences. Not the same as yours, but I totally understand that. Yeah. And that's a normal response too. But you're passing through, or you've passed through it?
Learning still. Because I can't sit here and say that I hate men. I don't hate them, because I think men are great. Like, especially like my friends that I actually have, I'm like, you guys are so fucking dope. Like sticky paws,
Yes,
like
exactly.
I love being here. I love being at the studio. So I'm like, and it's nothing but guys. And I feel like the reason why I like being here also is because I just know that these guys don't want to fuck me. Like, like it's like they're like a legitimate friends. And that's what I start finding. Like, that's what I try to find in guys, is who just genuinely wants to just talk to me. Not hang out, because I don't like hanging out. But like, who genuinely just wants to tell me about their day. Who genuinely wants to just know what I did with my day, how I'm feeling. Whereas, like, even when I start dating a guy, or like when I'm talking to a guy, like one thing that I look for now is are you talking to me sexually? And are you actually like talking to me and my brain? Like, are you looking for an intellectual conversation, or are you just making it seem like you like me and you're interested in the same things as me just because you're trying to get in my pants? And the mistrust that I have right now is like I know not everyone is attracted to me. I get that I'm not everyone's type, but I still feel that every single person, every man who talks to me, I'm just like, I'm dissecting the conversation to see. I'm like, you're just doing that because you want to fuck me. And not everybody wants to fuck me.
That's the language that's going on in your head.
That's what's going on in my head. Is I'm like, you're just talking to me because you just want to sleep with me. You just want to rape me. Like, that's how I think, and it's fucked up because that's what I'm trying to work through as we speak. Like, I'm really trying to work through that, and I cannot get that out of my fucking head.
And that is perfect. So that's a great piece that I can help you with. So, when you have this language, right? You have this affirmation, this subconscious to conscious thought that pops up. You are aware. Firstly, it's amazing that you're aware that this is occurring, because once you become aware, then you can modify it and you can change it. So this popped up from obviously all the trauma. You're in this sort of healing response. You're very paranoid. Again, rightfully so. When that, firstly, also, let's backtrack a little bit because you covered quite a bit I wanted to touch on. It is so amazing and very, very important that you surround yourself with men that you feel safe. So again, you being here and having these guys that I also know are amazing and very safe and appropriate is going to do and is already doing so much for you to heal, because you need more and more reinforcement that all men are not like that. And that is going to come with time. Yeah. So you already have one big piece of that healing puzzle together, where you have men that really value you. They just want to talk to you, and they're not trying to do something to get in your pants. So having removed yourself, I'm assuming you've removed yourself from the situations where you're exposed to men that may hurt you, or so beautiful. Again, it's, unfortunately, in particular industries, it's more of the guys that will do that kind of thing are drawn to. So having removed yourself was brilliant and wonderful. And so now you're putting yourself in more and more situations. Even having some of your guy friends, right, that you have outside of the studio, baby stepping your way, being with them in groups, and then over time getting to a place as you feel comfortable, spending more one-on-one time, maybe in public places, doing things friendly or whatever. Does that make sense? Are you at that point yet?
Yes and no. But the thing is, when I go to public places, I have to be with my brother. I cannot go, and I like, there's no fucking way I'm going anywhere where there's men around. I cannot go without my brother. But if I'm going like by myself and I have to go like by myself, my guard is retarded high.
Yes.
Like my guard is like, I will cuss somebody out just for like looking my way. That's fucked up because I've done that.
That's that other persona that kicks in.
Yeah, that's Patricia. Patricia be coming out and be like, "What the fuck you looking at me, bro? What? Keep your eyes up here." Even though my tits are out, you know, like my boobs will be out, but I'm like, no, look at me. I swear I'm smart. You know, like it's. So it's public places. I've definitely isolated myself when it comes to that, and unless I'm making money, like unless I'm like doing like an event or like genuinely making some type of money or doing or networking, there's no way I'm going in public just for fun. Yeah, because just for fun always means that you're trying to have sex. Like that's just how Vegas is.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, where you're at, totally understandable, and that's perfectly fine. You have to baby step your way to that healing place where you can feel more comfortable, and there maybe other things that you'll have to put in place for you to feel safe. I know some women have done classes like Krav
Maga.
Yes, exactly. Or they carry like a little stun gun or something like that,
pepper
or
spray.
whatever, or gun, you know, all sorts of things. Not that I'm recommending that, but in terms of creating something that makes you feel safe as you, again, go through your process. So, so going back to what you were saying, trusting men, yes, it's a process you're healing through, trusting yourself in making the right decisions in terms of, you know, when guys are speaking to you and you kind of have that little idea pop up like, okay, he's just talking to me for this, whatever. Okay. So there's a way that we can sort of work through and reword that, not allowing yourself to feel unsafe, because you might be very well, you know, it's rightful that you're like, okay, truly he is after me for my, you know, pussy. But maybe I'm being a little bit too intense and labeling him something that maybe he's not. That's not his intention. So the first thing that I would suggest you do when you first have that sort of feeling is, okay, I'm having it. Let's just take a step back and kind of get present in the experience. Okay, separating yourself from the trauma. We can do that by taking a deep breath, connecting with yourself. I'm very, very much an advocate of single breath meditations, which is like to just, okay, something is going amiss. My brain is saying something that may not be true. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. And like taking a deep breath and, okay, I recognize you. I appreciate you, I hear you, but now I'm going to basically use my spidey senses, not my brain or my past trauma, to guide me. Okay? Are you familiar with any of those techniques, or
like intuition? Or what do you mean?
Yeah, but first resetting yourself. So when I find that when people kind of feel those automatic reactions come up, we first want to reset ourselves. So doing something that kind of cleans the slate. So you acknowledge it. Oh, there it is. And then I'm going to take a deep breath and just ground and realize, okay, maybe this is not useful right now. And then connecting with your intuition or your other senses.
No, because to be fair, as soon as I feel, because it probably isn't even what the guy's intentions are, but as soon as I feel the slightest bit of like flirting or some type of sex talk or something like that, or like they're hitting on me, I'm just like, okay, no, I'm done. I'm absolutely done.
And that is absolutely appropriate. So there's if your paranoia is you're just talking to someone like little Austin over here.
I love Austin.
If you didn't know Austin and you started talking to him, you would feel, what I'm hearing from you is you would feel immediately that little voice would be like, oh, he's probably just going to get into my pants, or he's probably just trying.
Yeah.
Even though he wouldn't, and he's super cool and very respectful and an awesome, awesome guy and friend.
Yeah.
But so that's what I'm talking about. Before the guy even says or does anything sexual, that voice comes up.
No. I wouldn't say it comes up before anything sexual, but as soon as I get the slightest bit of a flirt, I'm done with the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
okay, that's good. So my understanding was that it was happening every single time you had an interaction, that like voice comes up. It was. Okay, good.
It was.
Okay, good.
Yeah, definitely. Like no, as soon as a guy would start talking, like I can almost remember guys just walking up to me and I'm already like, oh, he's just walking up to me because he wants to fuck me. And it's like, bitch, not everybody wants to fuck you. Shut up. But
so you talked back to it. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's great. You already have that skill where you're self-talking and just saying, bitch, relax. Okay. Not everybody is like that. So I encourage you to do more of that. So but also trusting your reactions when you feel like someone is, truly getting a little sexual and flirty. You can end the conversation, absolutely. You can redirect. A redirection might be another way to make you feel like you have your power back. Because removing yourself and just saying no and walking away is great. It's really great, because then you're protecting yourself. But the next level for you... So, next level. I totally did that by accident, but it so works. This is why I call it the Next Level Podcast with Dr. Leslie. So the next level for you, I would encourage you to start practicing with is for you to feel confident, to trust yourself, to know you're powerful, and to know you're in control when you're in a safe space, right? Is to start trying to redirect the conversation, reassert your power and authority. Like I said, even though removing yourself is good and it's safe, it's protective, you want to be a badass. You are a badass. You are so fucking independent and strong. You are the person that will be able to say, it doesn't matter if this guy wants to fuck me or every guy wants to fuck me. I don't have to run. Because to really be the powerful woman that you want to be, that I know you wrote all in your application or the little handout that I gave you in advance, you are on your trajectory to really being an influence, to be powerful, to be someone who shares and transforms the world in your own very special way. To be that woman, those men that will be there, they're going to be there now. They're going to be there 5 years. They're going to be 10 years. They're going to be there the entire ride up to your powerful point. They will always be there pulling at you and crawling on you like little ants. So you learn now to redirect and take control of the conversation. So how does Lana do that when she's ready? So if a guy starts being flirty, you can absolutely change by just redirecting it to, so if it's here at the studio and some douchebag walks in or whatever and he's like, oh, Lana, starts talking to you, I encourage you to try and push your boundary when you're comfortable, right? Baby steps. And he makes a comment about, oh, okay, thank you. Hey, what brings you here? Oh, are you on a podcast, or are you, looking to be on a podcast or whatever? Try and make neutral conversation or make it about business. You can also get into creating another persona for yourself, like the business persona or the badass persona. So I oftentimes, when I'm working with my clients, I do this sort of persona work. So I love that you already have 4. You can add as many as you want. So if you're in that situation, going from the I'm going to walk away to, no, I am Lana the goddess, the Shiva of whatever. And that bitch does not take a guy's bullshit and she does not walk away. She is the master at being able to redirect the conversation away from her physicality, demonstrate that you have boundaries, demonstrate that you have intelligence, and demonstrate who you are.
Yeah, I like that.
So to get there, we can explore what that looks like. So who is the Lana that can do that, who can be that badass, who can take a little fucking dweeb who's trying to hit on you, who might actually want to get in your pants, and you can actually turn that conversation around. Ooh. What would that be?
Patricia. No.
Is that Patricia?
I know.
Patricia's a little feisty.
Patricia's a fucking bitch. I don't even like her.
So you may not want to do this here.
Yeah, but
it might be somebody new.
A whole new personality.
Yeah, and so when I usually work more intensely with someone, and this is what I offer you, I want to work with you off camera, and we can like explore this. And I usually what I do is I'll get someone into sort of a nice, calm, relaxed, I quote, meditative state. It's really not. It's just getting you into a relaxed state where we're tapping into your more like relaxed, creative mind, and you can really feel into this person, this being, who you need to be to get to this next level of healing for yourself, and be this badass woman who isn't going to be afraid of men and their advances, that you can actually take that and you can make that experience, you can turn it into putty. Yeah. You're not a victim anymore. You don't have to feel that way. Mm-hmm. So here we won't be able to necessarily do that, but that's what's going to be for you to be empowered to shift through and get to that next phase of healing for you. And it's going to serve you not just in those situations and everything else, because that's really where your trajectory is. It's alignment with your goals and what you were sharing with me here. Mm-hmm. It's going to help you trust men because you will trust yourself and your ability to control a situation and those guys that will be coming at you. Mm. You won't be experiencing them as often because you're not in that environment, but they will be around. They always find their way to work their way. Yeah. And then over time, as you get more and more practice and repetition switching into this girl, to this woman, into this persona, the healing is going to just naturally evolve because you're going to realize there's nothing to be afraid of. I'm in control. I have my boundaries. I know how to navigate my life and situations in a way that I know I'm safe, I'm protected, and I can just spin this. And then your understanding of men, your ability to decipher men you can trust, men that you can't, men that, because there's all sorts, that's going to become so much more fine-tuned. Mm-hmm. And that confidence and trust in yourself is really that end result. It doesn't matter the people that are around you. You're going to know yourself, and your intuition is going to be so on fucking par that you're just going to be able to breeze through. And then the relationships and the dating are going to evolve too. You're going to actually be able to attract guys. When I mean attract, I mean you're going to just be able to be in this persona. People are going to resonate, and those douchebags aren't even going to say a fucking thing to you because you're going to be there. You're going to be in such an expanded, confident, empowered spot that you're not even going to have that. For me, I never get that shit. Rarely. Mm-hmm. No one will ever try and disrespect me because those fuckers know she will fucking punch me. I would never, but they just know people that they cannot mess with and they can't say shit to. Mm-hmm. So that is going to be that structure that you're stepping into so beautifully and naturally on your own. And it's just going to expedite you through your healing, and you're going to really be transformed in the way that you are existing in your body. And then all those other outside relationships are going to be positively affected too.
I hope so.
How does that feel? How does that resonate with you?
No, that sounds actually like amazing, because I never thought of, because right now I'm at the point where I'm like, if the conversation doesn't go the way I want it to go, I just walk away. Mm-hmm. Whereas I'm like, I know I'm bold enough to be able to like sit there and be like, okay, how about we like not talk about this until, like, I know I could do that. So when you said that, I was like, oh, I know I can do that. I know I can redirect the conversation to for someone to take me a little more serious. But I, like, right now, I'm just the angry, bitter woman, because it's like, oh God, I just called you pretty, or whatever the fuck it may be. And
right. So we don't want to be in those other personas. I don't even want you to utilize Patricia or any of them. Yeah. I want you to create a new persona, a brand new one that serves your new phase going forward. Because the other girls, they have their pieces, like you said, one you didn't really like or whatever. We want a brand new one that aligns with who you want to be. Yeah. And then we can work on, what would she say? What does that feel like when she's in her space and in her power and she knows that she can just transmit any situation? And that's where we'll be able to find some really authentic words of words to redirect. So, we can walk you through what she would say in a conversation. And, that could be really a number of things. But, I want you to have in your arsenal 3 or 4, maybe 5 even different ways to distract and redirect the conversation, so that you can start practicing them. They're like your go-tos until you start being able to naturally do it. So good ones, just to kind of banter, since we're not in like a deep session here, is always good things are, if it's in the studio, like I said, why are you here? I have a podcast. You should be a speaker. What do you do for work? Like really generic, non about your body type of things. When you're out in public, it's a little bit different. You have someone with you. So I really want it to be more focused on when you're engaging with someone more one-on-one, because that's likely where more of that threat will be triggered in you, where you'll have to be on top of it and just go, woosah, get into that state.
It's a little funny that I kind of have a question about a little bit, but like you said, like when I go into public, I'm with somebody, and when I'm here at the studio, like I have multiple people around me, like I have a lot of people around me. But when I can't say I trust myself in trusting like how I speak to men or how I talk to men in a sense, or like whatever it is that I'm doing wrong. But when I was talking to a guy, I was dating somebody, and it was, I started dating him because he never talked about my body in the beginning. He wasn't talking about my body. It was very like, I just really want to get to know you. Like, you're a dope ass girl. I like you. So I trusted that and I loved it. And when we got together, it was great. And it wasn't until we started having sex that I started feeling like, I was like, I feel comfortable enough to have sex with you. And he was the first guy that I had sex with since I had the whole situation happened. So I had sex with him, and then it became let's have sex again. Let's have sex again. Oh, that was great. Oh, the sex was great. Oh my God, I love how you did this. I love how you did that. And I'm like so now I was like, it went from a fucking great not talking about sex as soon as you got it, it was, now we're talking about sex all the time. And that bothers me too, because I'm like, I know I'm supposed to be like sexually free and comfortable with the person that I'm dating and having sex with, but as soon as it happens, now I'm like, you're objectifying me. So like,
have you shared that with him, how you feel?
Yes and no.
So that's classic woman. I know we expect the men to just know, I want sex, but don't fucking make me want to have sex with you. Don't do sex. I want it, but I don't want it. And you should know what I want it and what I don't want it.
I communicated very loudly. Let's just say that.
Okay.
So I communicated it, but I was crying, I was loud, I was yelling. Okay. So it was like one of those.
It was a traumatic release. It was your first time. It was probably messy and ugly and beautiful all at the same time, because you were communicating and it was raw and real. So, so being able to revisit it with him from a place of calm and just say, listen, does he know about the rape and everything?
Everything.
Okay. So men can't read our minds, and they need us to really break things down for them. They're beautiful and amazing creatures, but we do need to really be very specific with them about what we need and what we're feeling. So are you still with him, or you weren't, or doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We don't want to talk about it for the next time, because you'll have another opportunity where this is going to come up and you're going to have to work through it. So communicate just, okay, so you know about the rape situation and how I'm healing and I'm learning to trust and the whole journey that we came to this point. Now I'm feeling like I'm feeling triggered about being objectified sexually because you want it all the time. And I know that it's right and you want that, and I want to be sexually active too, but I need to like pace it or pull it back a little bit, maybe not make it so much about sex. Mm-hmm. I'm a woman. You can always play that card, which is real. I have emotions and I'm working through something, and I'm being real and vulnerable and honest with you. And I hope that you can appreciate and understand that. I enjoy you and I want to enjoy you more, but I need you to kind of pull back on how much you're making it about sex.
Yeah.
And I think it was so amazing that you allowed him to get emotionally close to you and those things. And, you know, and he's still amazing that he still wanted to be with you after, which should show you that, oh, he really did like you and the sex. So that's another thing to remember too, that he didn't just all of a sudden fuck you and then bail, right? So give him, no matter what the situation is anymore, give him the credit that you actually did a great thing. You vetted him. He proved himself. You took a risk. It was a good one. Yes, your sort of hurt made it a little bit too focused on the piece, but that's okay. That's where you're at. You're healing. But going forward in the next one, as you do those same things and vet him and trust yourself, just be more communicative about, okay, I need to just like slow my roll. Can we maybe this time we get together not fuck? Can we, or just like, let me feel like I'm cared for a little bit. Yeah. And then let's see what happens. That's what I require. And if that doesn't work for you, I understand. I'm in a healing process. If you don't want to be a part of it, it's okay. But this is what I need. And then he knows where you're at. Then he can decide if he wants to stay or go. And there's nothing, doesn't mean that he only wanted sex if he decides to leave as well. Some people just, it's a lot to be a part of someone's healing process. I've been there for people and it can be very difficult. So that in itself will help you communicate, be vulnerable and honest. You might even want to do it. I mean, you did it up front, which was great, but just say, okay, I've been here. When we have sex, I'm probably going to freak out a little bit and I'm going to need you to be like, to slow your roll a little bit. Just play be honest, dude, I'm recovering from I'm healing. We're going to fuck. I'm going to fucking freak out. And then you just need to be ready for it. And we need to calm down and just love me, cuddle me, do the things you did before. And then I will build trust and it's going to help me. It's going to help you. It's going to be a thing. So if you're up for that, let's do it. If not, I get it. No problem. No harm done. I honor you. You honor me. Like, it can be very mature. And there's a lot of really great men out there that are willing to do that. How does that sound? Does that make sense?
Right now, I don't believe it. But but that's part of the healing that I need to go through. Like right now, I feel like every time I tell a guy, like I genuinely tell a guy that I'm crazy. I'm genuinely crazy. I'm like, you don't want it right now. I'm a headache. I have a lot of healing to do, and it has nothing to do with cheating. Like, a lot of guys think that I'm like, I have healing to do. Oh, who broke your heart? Fuck you. No one broke my heart. They broke my pussy. How about that? Like, it didn't. I was like, it has nothing to do with cheating or relationships. It has a lot of mental, like, it's a mental toll, because like stripping made me hate being touched. And so I'm like, the fact that I hate being touched, I'm like, I tell guys, I don't like being touched. I'm a fucking headache. I have a lot of trauma to deal with. And the first thing they do is they're like, ooh, challenge. I'm like, you bitch. Like,
but it's true. So, but this is a beautiful thing, because men, okay, we're going to go to fundamentals about men. Men love guns and fighting and video games that are about fighting, and they like machinery and like, they love risk. Yeah. They love challenge. They love chasing. And I mean chasing is in that men are meant to prove themselves and provide and go risk their lives. Like primally, this is what they do. They love a challenge. Everything in their fucking life is risk, competition, challenge, survival. So don't hate them for that.
Never thought of it
love that. Yeah. That is exactly what makes men men. And we love that, because they want to provide. They want to be a part of it. There are some really amazing men who really do want that challenge. They want to be the guy that fucking saved her, or the guy that made it through and was the one who did it. Yeah. They always want to be. So again, the perspective needs to change from it being about the challenge of getting in your pants to, I'm the one who she healed with.
But they just make it worse.
Well,
in my eyes, they do.
In your eyes. And so I gently want you to, again, reframe the perspective. You've had many traumas where that has been real, but you were in an environment and in situations that really perpetuated that, and you're not there. And I want you to be able to close the door on that and separate yourself. And this is where, when I do the work with you, where we step into this persona, the way you feel about yourself and the way we can have your perspective about men that is real, that will be reinforced as you step into this person, and the way you speak and the way you hold yourself and the way you can build confidence in yourself. The entire way that men will react to you will change. So the way that we present ourselves is what we get back, right? If we present ourselves, and I've been there. I've been a victim. I was some fucked up, stupid, naive girl who allowed myself to be taken advantage of over and over and over again. I didn't know that that's what I was projecting out, the way I spoke, the way I acted, the way everything I did. And I had to go through some really hard shit to realize, oh my God, I didn't realize. Now, your situation, the rape, that's a whole separate thing, right? That was not something you brought on. But in terms of you wanting to be this powerful woman, like I said, this is all about getting you where you want to be in the end, which is your powerful, independent, free, successful state. So the healing is actually a big catalyst for you to become that. Huge. So when you kind of step into this whole space, it's all going to transform. What you attract is going to change. You could have the same guy, interact with the same guy from a place of walking away from him. And when he flirts with you, and from a place of Lana, whoever that's going to be, the Shiva, the goddess, and you'll be able to completely squeeze out of him a completely separate response. Something totally different. Same guy, might have a douchebag side of him, but you can get a respect, and you can completely, I don't want to say manipulate, not in a bad way, but you can transform the entire interaction. I've done it. I work with people who've done it. You can do it too. So it is very much a perspective. So I really think this is a great place to end, because I really want to now, this is like the point in my show or my session where I'd be like, okay, let's go into the intervention now where we get you to that place. Because we've really exhausted it from a mental, intellectual piece. Right. The next part is getting Lana to embody it and actually know what it feels like to be that person, and then everything will shift. So I love that. Oh, you missed it. You missed the kitties.
I'm gonna heal. I swear I will.
Oh yeah. I got you. So I'll definitely want to have you on the show again later after we kind of do this process and get you into the state and start experimenting with what it feels like to be in this upgraded version of Lana, this personality that's gonna kill it. So thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
I honor you. I love you so much. You're such a beautiful soul and a human being, and you're so ahead of the game in so many ways. I'm excited to see where you go after we get you through this healing process. You're just going to be like badass in a whole new positive, beautiful level. So
thank you.
All right, guys, until next time.